Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 67 of Chatting with Anthony. In today's episode, I'm going to address the question, is failure a bad thing? Now, funny enough, I was talking about it a little bit in the last episode. I honestly didn't remember that this next episode was about failure. But, failure is basically defined as the lack of success. You could also approach it as the omission of an expected or required action. Now, the thing with failure is it is objective. And what I mean by that is, unless you're playing, say, sports, where it's definitively one team wins and one team loses. I guess what I'm trying to say is it just depends on how you view it. Like, even if you lost a game, like, if you're like the Charlotte Hornets, I'm just going to go off of like last year's standings. If you're the Charlotte Hornets and you were playing against Oklahoma City Thunder and you were in OKC and you lost the game by, if you had played the game without LaMelo Ball and you were in the fourth quarter and you had the game and they were only up by less than 10 points, you might have lost the game, but you would view that as, I know that people say there's no such thing as a moral victory in sports, but that is a bit of a moral victory. It's like you're not supposed to be anywhere near that close to succeeding, but you still were. So was the failure really even a failure at that point? You over achieved. On the other hand, you can win a game and still greatly underachieve. So that's basically the best way I can explain where I'm going with this. Failure, I think, I know I've said this a lot before, failure teaches you a lot. Those lessons, when applied, lead to success. Now, the problem is, you can't let failure hold you back. You can't let the fear hold you back, because the fear is the emotions talking. We've talked about how if the fear is the reason you're not doing it, then it's essentially like you're letting the emotions use you. Use that, like, whatever it is, like to hurt your ego, however you need to use it, but just tell yourself that. Speak that over yourself, if that makes sense. I don't want to be that kind of person, so help me not be that kind of person. Think of it like that. I'll use the example of Michael Jordan, probably one of the most successful basketball players ever, arguably the greatest ever, not getting into that right now. It took MJ 7 years before he won his first ring. He won, in terms of full seasons, and when I say full, I don't mean like he played all 82 games, but I mean like he didn't have like a major injury where he was out for like some extended period. In 6 full seasons that he played, he won 6 consecutive championships. And I word it like that because I believe it was 1995. He came back towards the end of the year, and they lost to the Magic in the playoffs, I believe it was. And that was like when they had Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway. But, do you think it would have made, obviously hindsight's 2020, but would you look back at that and say that Michael Jordan should have stopped trying and should have gone to a new team? Obviously not. It worked out for him. It's like, well, how are you going to know for sure unless you keep trying? And there's a lot in sports where it's a bit different because the player can only do what he can do. He can do what's asked of him, but he needs to count on other people to put the right people around him and to put them in the right positions for the team as a whole to succeed. When it comes to a lot of us in our lives, a lot of it comes down to us. Our actions, our thoughts, our whatever. Now that, what I said with MJ applies to that situation is applicable in a lot of sports situations, but you also have, like, in those other situations I was saying, for a lot of us, we have weights, business, hobbies, etc. If you want to improve, if you want to see progress, a lot of it comes down to you just being consistent and showing up and doing whatever you got to do. And again, the good news is when you fail hard, like when you hit the ground hard, you remember that, and you probably remember what led up to that, and you try not to do that in the future. So if you get hurt, you learn more from it. And I know that I don't really agree with the saying what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But I think that mindset and that principle applies here. Do you think that Michael Jordan is looking back after the 6 championships thinking about like losing to the Pistons in the playoffs years prior and regretting that he had to go through that pain? Now, I'll be honest, it's possible, but I don't think so. I think he looks back at his 6 championships and just smiles and laughs like, yeah, I got mine eventually though. And that's kind of how you have to view it, even when you haven't gotten yours yet. Because, you know, there was a time when, you know, fill in the blank superstar in whatever field you're looking at hadn't succeeded yet. But how did they succeed? I mean, they clearly kept going, right? So if we're going to take principles from these people, if we're going to follow like their morning routines and whatnot, we might as well follow the actual nitty-gritty stuff that isn't quite as sexy. It's not like, hey, do 50 push-ups in the morning and you'll be successful. It's like, you should get stronger if you do that, but I mean, no, that's not like, it's not a one-to-one thing, really. So, that's all I really want to say for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe, God bless, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully. Bozos.